The rain drummed against the windows of Martha's diner that cold November morning. Inside, the warmth glowed from red vinyl booths, and the smell of fresh coffee filled the air. Sarah had been working the breakfast shift for 3 years. Now at 28, she knew every regular by name and how they liked their eggs. But the man who walked in that Tuesday was someone new. He moved slowly, his weathered jacket hanging loose on his thin frame. His gray hair was neatly combed, but his shoes had seen better days. He sat in the corner booth, the one by the window where he could watch the street. Sarah grabbed a menu and walked over with her practiced smile. "Good morning, sir," she said brightly. "What can I get started for you today?" The man looked up at her with kind eyes that crinkled at the corners. "Just coffee, please," he said quietly. His voice was gentle, almost apologetic. Sarah noticed his hands trembling slightly as he folded them on the table. "Of course," she said. "And how about some breakfast to go with that? We have a special today." The man shook his head. "Just the coffee. Thank you." "I appreciate it." Sarah poured his cup and left him to his thoughts. Through the morning rush, she watched him. He sat there for an hour nursing that single cup, staring out at the rain, as if searching for something in the gray sky. When Sarah brought the check, he reached into his pockets. She saw his face change that moment of panic. Everyone dreads. He checked his jacket, then his pants again. "I'm so sorry," he said, his cheeks flushing. "Red, I thought I had my wallet. I must have left it. I'm terribly sorry." Sarah had seen this before. Sometimes people were scamming, but looking at this man, she saw only genuine embarrassment, the way he couldn't meet her eyes, the slight shake in his voice. "Don't worry about it," she said softly. "It's just coffee. Consider it my treat." The man looked up at her. His eyes were suddenly bright. "You don't have to do that." "Yes, I do," she smiled. "We all need a little kindness sometimes." "What's your name, sir?" "Robert," he said after a pause. "Robert Mitchell. Well." "Mr. Mitchell," she said warmly. "You come back any time." "Next cup is on the house, too." Robert stood slowly. "Thank you, Sarah," he said, reading her name tag. "You have no idea what this means to me." She watched him walk out into the rain. Something about him stayed with her the rest of the day. The next morning, Robert came back. This time, he had his wallet and insisted on paying for both coffees. But Sarah refused the payment. For hers, a deal's a deal. She winked. They talked while she worked. Robert asked about her life. She told him about her daughter, Emma, how she was raising her alone after her husband left, how she worked doubles to save for Emma's college fund, how sometimes she was so tired she couldn't see straight, but it was worth it because Emma was everything. Robert listened in a way few people did. Really listened. Not waiting to talk, just absorbing every word. Over the next 2 weeks, Robert came every morning. Always the same booth. Always ordering coffee and eventually toast. They talked about life, about dreams, about the disappointments we carry. Sarah learned Robert had built something once lost. Someone dear was looking for something he couldn't quite name. Then one morning, Robert didn't come. Sarah felt the absence like a cold draft. 3 days passed. On the 4th day, a man in an expensive suit walked into the diner. He asked for Sarah by name. "I'm Jonathan Reed," he said, handing her a business card. "I represent Mr. Robert Mitchellis. He okay?" Sarah asked her, heart dropping. "He's fine, Mr. Reed smiled. In fact, he asked me to give you this." He handed her an envelope. Inside was a check. Sarah's hands shook as she read the numbers. $500,000. "What is this?" she whispered. "Mr. Mitchell is Robert Mitchell, the founder of Mitchell Industries. He's..." worth nearly $4 billion. He's been searching for someone for a very long time. Someone with genuine kindness. Someone who helps without expecting anything in return. He's 72 now with no children of his own. That morning you paid for his coffee. He was testing people. He'd been to 40 different places over 6 months, always pretending to forget his wallet. Everyone else either called him a scammer or begrudged the few dollars. You were the only one who showed him real human kindness, who asked his name, who told him to come back. Sarah couldn't breathe. "This can't be real. It's very real," Mr. Reed said gently. "And there's more. Mr. Mitchell would like to establish a college fund for Emma, fully paid from kindergarten through graduate school. He's also paying off your mortgage, and he's offering you a position at his foundation, helping distribute funds to worthy causes, if you're interested." The tears came, then hot and fast. "Why me?" she managed to ask. "Because Mr. Reed said you proved that real kindness still exists, that there are people who help simply because it's right. That's the kind of person he wants to carry forward his legacy." Robert came back the next day. Sarah ran to him and hugged him tight. "You didn't have to do this," she said. Crying, "Yes, I did," Robert said softly. "I've spent 50 years building wealth, but I'd forgotten what really matters. You reminded me. You gave me hope when I'd almost given up. That morning you paid for a $2 coffee without hesitation, even though I could see you counting tips in your apron. You gave from your own need. That's the rarest thing in this world." Sarah wiped her eyes. "I just did what anyone should do." "Exactly," Robert smiled. "But most don't. That's why you're special." Sarah works at the Mitchell Foundation. Now she still visits the diner every week, still sits in that corner booth, still orders coffee. Emma is in her first year of college studying medicine. She wants to help people like her mother taught her. Robert comes by often. He and Sarah have become family. Not through blood, but through something stronger. Through kindness recognized and returned. Through understanding that wealth means nothing if you have no one to share it with. Sometimes the smallest gestures create the biggest changes. A cup of coffee, a moment of kindness, a choice to see someone's humanity instead of their appearance. That's all it takes to change a life, or in this case, 2 lives forever. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Subscribe for more stories that remind us what really matters, and comment below to tell us about a time someone's kindness changed your day, because we all have the power to be someone's blessing. We just have to choose to act.